Bore da, good morning. How are you this morning? I have a confession to make actually. This is Sunday evening for me. I have 2 days of training, curates training with my colleague Kay, Monday and Tuesday. And so I'm recording this Sunday evening, but that's just to be safe really. One less stress for an early start. But you're listening on Monday and I hope it finds you well. And what am I here to talk to you about today? Well, we had quite an eventful week, I have to confess. So I'll tell you a little bit about last week, and I want to tell you about something that happened on Saturday. So on Saturday, we had the Diocesan Conference for Healing and Reconciliation, and it was a really superb morning. It had originally been planned to be a whole day in the cathedral, and it moved on to Zoom, and we had an excellent keynote speaker, Dr. Gillian Strain. You can catch up with her if you have a look on the Diocesan website. I think her address will be on there sometime later in the week. And we did some workshops, and one of the workshops I chose to do was about a life in prayer, and it was led by Father David Matthews from St Julian's Church. And he gave me a gift. What he gave me was an opportunity to sit and pray and be in the company of God, led by him. And for somebody who ministers, that's quite rare and quite unusual. I tend to do a lot of leading, and I do a lot of praying too, particularly in my own private prayer life. But it's quite unusual these days for me to sit and have somebody else lead me through prayer. And it was a real gift and a real joy and incredibly refreshing and wonderful. And that tied in to what had happened in the week. Our eventful week was that 3 of us required a COVID test. I was one of them. And we weren't too worried because although we were feeling pretty grim and sick, we knew that we had been doing the fire break very carefully, and I hadn't been in touch with anybody and neither had the other 2 people. So we knew we hadn't risked sharing the virus if we had indeed caught it. But we needed to know whether we needed to go into isolation, and so we went and had a test, and that was all done incredibly efficiently and brilliantly. And I take my hat off to the Welsh authorities that are doing all of that planning and so on. It couldn't have been easier to organise. And then we sat and waited, and we had to wait 36 hours for our test results to come back. And in that time, we had the inevitable conversations about how were we going to manage if we needed to isolate. That would have been 10 days or 14 days when we couldn't go shopping. I'd already checked and I knew I couldn't book a Tesco shop, and there were 5 of us in the house. We weren't too worried about the work aspect of things because a lot of it's online and we could get services covered reasonably easily. But just how were we going to keep milk in the fridge and bread in the cupboard, and a few fresh vegetables would be really nice. And we realised we were going to have to ask for help. And we drew up a little list of the people we felt comfortable asking to help us and the people who might be willing, given that a lot of people that we know don't want to be going out and about, and we're still in fire break and needing to be cautious about not going out too much. The tests came back negative, and so our little bit of planning that we had begun was completely irrelevant. But it was a very, very good lesson, because do you know what? It's really hard to ask for help, isn't it? And we had got a little list, and we would have been fine. But the idea that we might need help from others sort of brought us up sharp, really. And I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at asking for help, and I'm not very good at receiving help from other people, which is why our eventful week tied into the prayer time that I received with Father David on Saturday, because I received something from him. And I just wanted to share with you something that I've known for an incredibly long time and I try ever so hard to put into practice. And that is that we're always told that the joy is in the giving, aren't we? Better to give than to receive. And I want to tell you, I don't think that's entirely true. I don't think that's the whole picture, because sometimes we have to receive. And when we receive, what we've actually done is allow somebody else to give. And if we aren't gracious in our receipt of what others choose to give us, then we deny them that joy. And so whilst it is important that we give, we do have to be gracious receivers from others as well. Otherwise, we are depriving people of an opportunity to feel the joy that we know we get when we give. It's crazy, isn't it? We do have to say thank you sometimes and just allow ourselves to be in receipt of goodness from others. And if we carry that into our faith life, then all that we do for God is, of course, incredibly important, and that's our gift to him. But sometimes we have to sit and receive from him too. And so the real gift from Father David on Saturday was not just that he sat and prayed with me, but that he allowed me to receive from God. And that was the true gift that I got from that experience. So there's my challenge for you today. Instead of thinking about what you might be able to give to somebody else, have a little think about how you might be willing to receive, to allow others the joy of giving. I'm not going to say any more than that, but I do hope you have a good day today. Please don't worry about us. We are all well and in no need of any help at all. And we're ready. Next time we might need some support, we know we can ask and we know that people will help. So have a lovely Monday, and I will be in touch with you later in the week. And for now, lots of love and God bless. Bye-bye.